bring me down. The love is good. Bring me down. Ain't nothing. Bring me down. I said, bring me down. Can't nothing. Bring me down. The love is good. Bring me down. All right, I think we're ready to get started. Looks like we got some happy folks online here. I think we're ready. I see you, Jahari. I saw you, Lisa. I think we are ready to get started. All right, good morning. I don't know about you, but I'm happy. We are so glad to get started. And so really quick, we just want to say thank you for your patience. And no matter what, we are not going to let our technology issues get us down. My name is Marvin Lyman, Business Development and Corporate Relations Manager for the Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council. Listen, I have a whole spiel, but we need to gain back some time. So for clarification purposes, I want you to remember that all times posted on the agenda are in Mountain Standard Time. So please keep that in mind for your specific time zone. Today's activities would not be possible without our diversity sponsors, Excel Energy, Ball Corporation, and Major League Baseball. Impact sponsors, Software Engineering Services, collaborating sponsors, the University of Nebraska, Molson Coors, contributing sponsors, Worldwide Technology, Dell Technologies, Denver Public Schools, Cerner, Comcast, Holder, FCI, J.E. Dunn, and National Renewable Energy Laboratory. Advocacy sponsors, Aero Electronics Incorporated, Border States Electric, Charter Communications, Lumen, and Zones. Unity sponsors, South Coast Papers, Blue Bamboo, the Denver Minority Business Center, and the Coronavirus Response and Relief Award, Denver. Supporting sponsors, United Airlines, official airlines of the Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council, and because of their sponsorship, Council certified MBEs, corporate members, and strategic partners were able to register at no cost for today's phenomenal events. I want to thank you again for attending today. Thank you to our sponsors. And in front of you is our agenda for today. Welcome again to the 2021 September Virtual Business Opportunity Exchange. Please welcome Market President Belinda Hooks.
All of 2021, we've covered a multitude of topics during our many events, whether it is learning how to pivot during a pandemic, providing access to capital through various banking institutions or grants, or gaining access to business and educational opportunities. The Mountain Plains MSDC continues to strive to promote development and advocacy for not only our MBEs, but also our corporate members. The Centers of Excellence had a wonderful beginning this past Tuesday with mentors and mentees learning more about collaboration. MB University is on the rise and set to begin in the late fall. And we've had a connection event each month since March. Thanks to our CEO, we are even able to expand our many informational offerings through a special for Coronavirus Response and Relief Award grant, as well as the Denver Minority Business Center. Please help me welcome our CEO, Mr. Stan Senna.
Well, thank you, Belinda. Again, welcome everyone. Just like all of you, last year we didn't know what we were up against because of the pandemic. And 2021 continues to offer all kinds of challenges. With the help of our corporate members and the federal government, we were able to continue working on our mission of creating wealth in the minority business community. Through the Minority Business Development Agency, we were able to launch both the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act program, and just recently, the Coronavirus Response and Relief Act program. These programs, in conjunction with our Denver Minority Business Center program. To date, we have facilitated more than 90 webinars focused on MBEs, SBEs, DBEs, and rural businesses with efforts to help those businesses navigate the consequences of COVID. Our Denver Business Center has facilitated $541,442,000 in verifiable contracts and $133,331,000 and financing for our minority-owned businesses. Our strategic partnerships with resource partners throughout our 4-state region have grown. We have been fortunate to bring in both national and international experts to deliver much needed information during this crisis. Our corporate members have continued to provide support and commitment to the mission of this council and have not wavered these past 18 months. I can say we are a better and stronger council because of our collaboration and the support of our corporate members and our certified MBEs. Thank you to both. We're excited about the road ahead as companies, cities, states, and regions cautiously open up for business. The path forward is clearly centered around collaboration, and the Mountain Plains Council is grateful to be at the forefront. I'm excited to be working with our staff to continue this momentum going. Speaking of committed corporate members, I'm pleased to introduce one of our diversity sponsors, XL Energy. Representing XL is the manager of supplier diversity, James Garness. Jim is one of those committed and passionate supporters of supplier diversity, an individual focused on increasing diversity spend within XL, and a longtime supporter of the Mountain Plains Council. Please welcome Jim Garness. So as I understand it, our technical difficulties are still bothering a lot of us. Jim was on, Jim can't get back on. What I would like to do is ask whoever's running the show here to go ahead and move forward and introduce the next speaker.
So again, we want to thank Jim. We understand there are technical difficulties. We want to begin to introduce our very special guest who has gracefully accepted our invitation to speak to the council and to represent the MBE experience. With that said, Tiara Flynn was born and raised in Las Vegas and is a 2006 graduate from Bonanza High School. During her high school junior and senior year, Flynn began her career in marketing and leadership at family's firm, Newsome Marketing, as its very first marketing coordinator. She was directly responsible for maintaining the client notebooks, coordinating correspondence, and meeting preparation. Ms. Flynn enlisted in the United States Air Force upon high school graduation and served through 2016 as an aviation resource manager. In this position, she completed 3 duty assignments, 3 overseas deployments, as well as numerous relief and humanitarian missions on temporary duty assignment and throughout the United States. Halfway through her military career, Tiara and her father rebranded Newsome Marketing into what is now known as Some New Marketing. Under Flynn's leadership, Some New Marketing has increased revenue every year since 2012 by 10% or more, doubled its human resources capacity, and was named the SBA Family-Owned Business in 2015. National Minority Supplier Development Council's Supplier of the Year 2017. And recently, the WRMSDC All Money is Green Award 2020, an award that recognizes a certified minority business enterprise that has done the most business with other certified MBEs. Tiara Flynn is not only an asset to the supply diversity world, but a visionary of what true MBE community building is all about. On behalf of Ball Corporation, it is a privilege and honor to introduce Some New Marketing, Tiara Flynn. We're going to check now to make sure that Tiara is available here online. As we know, we've had just a little bit of difficulty. And so give us just one moment.
Thank you so much, Marvin. I know we have Ed Cleaver from Ball Corporation on the call. I would love for him to give us some words from Ball.
Hey, thank you. If Tiara is not on yet, I'd be happy to go ahead here. It really is. It really is a privilege to be a part of this organization, to join you today on behalf of Ball Corporation. I joined Ball as a Senior Director of Procurement Strategy and Operations in January of this year. So I'm very new at Ball. And Ball's strong commitment to sustainability and social responsibility was one of the most important factors that inspired me to move from just being a consultant working with the company to actually becoming a full-time employee. And recently, Ball doubled down on that commitment to sustainability and social responsibility by releasing their 2030 sustainability goals. These 10 goals are not only about product stewardship, which is very important with the environmental issues that we all face, but it's also very much about social impact. And one of these goals focuses on responsible sourcing, which includes a commitment, and this is the part that you all will be glad to hear, it includes a commitment to double our annual spend with diverse suppliers in the US by 2030. As of 2020, Ball already spent $107 million per year with diversity suppliers. And this accounts for 7% of our non-metal spend in North America. As my new responsibilities for procurement strategy and operations also include our focus on supplier diversity, I really look forward to personally learning from and working with this council and its members to be part of a responsible and transparent value chain that helps to not just grow our business and manage our risks, but creates value for our shareholders, for all people, and for the planet, because that's really what we're all about here at Ball. So thank you very much for the opportunity to be a part of this. And I look forward to working more closely with all of you.
Thank you so much, Ed, for your wonderful words. And we can't wait to work together. I know you and I already had that conversation this morning, but
That's right.
making sure we're pushing that envelope and making sure that we're doing the business that everyone deserves is awesome. So thank you so much for those words, Ed. We also have Jim Garnett on the call now. Jim, if you want to give us those words, we would love to hear from you as well. And then the voice after Jim, you will be hearing from none other than Tiara Flynn from Some New Marketing.
Well, good morning. My name is Jim Garnis, and I'm the Manager of Supplier Diversity at Xcel Energy, and excited to be part of the Mountain Plains BOE. I'm coming to you today from Minneapolis, Minnesota, and sit on the Board of Directors of the North Central Minority Supplier Development Council. My Bob Kunze is the chair of the board of the Mountain Plains Council, and we would both like to welcome you to the 2021 Mountain Plains Business Opportunity Exchange. One of the important aspects of my supplier diversity position is the impact small and minority-owned businesses can have across our communities. Xcel Energy partnered with Supplier IO earlier this year to measure the impact of its spend with small and diverse businesses. And in 2020, the collective impact of that spend was $2.5 billion across the US economy and over $580 million in Colorado alone. I hope you'll all make some great connections today, which impact your bottom line and increase the economic vitality of all our communities. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jim. Amazing. We cannot wait to continue to do work with Xcel Energy. You guys have been such a pinnacle and a staple at the NPMSDC, and we just appreciate your support as well. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to introduce the amazing Tiara Flynn. She, of course, is coming from Some New Marketing, and she has an amazing story and presentation to share with you, planting seeds and putting the real in the relationships of business. So the next voice you'll hear after mine is none other than Miss Tiara Flynn.
Thank you so much, Brittany, for that introduction. I really appreciate being able to speak with all of you here today. I want to say thank you again to Marvin and Brittany for inviting me to speak at this event today. I'm really appreciative. Really appreciative. I'm coming to all of you from Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm the owner and CEO of Some New Marketing, and I also created an online marketing membership platform called the Some New Solution Zone. Some New Marketing, we've been in business for 15 years now. I'm actually the second generation owner. My dad started the business in 2006, and I joined the ownership and executive team in 2012. So very honored to still be in business today. As a business, we've survived the first recession, or the last recession, excuse me, in 2008, 2009, and now trying to crawl out of this COVID craziness. So it's just a blessing to be able to be here this morning and speak with all of you. And I hope that I'm able to, give you some nuggets to take away for you to be able to sustain your business as well. Some New Marketing is a minority business enterprise. We are certified. We're out in the Western region. We were the National Supplier of the Year Class 1 in 2017 winner, and went to the award ceremony out in Detroit, Michigan. And then in 2020, we won the Western Region All Money is Green Award, basically saying that we spend and partner with MBEs a lot. So just feel like a part of the family already, even though you guys are in the Mountain Plains and I'm out in the Western region. We're all one big happy family as MBEs. So enough about me. Next slide, please. As Brittany said, and you can just click through I want to talk about relationships that are real. So that is not a typo. We like to make up terms and phrases here at Some New Marketing. Some New is actually something new. So you'll see a lot of words in here where you'll wonder if I did a little spell check, but I promise you I did. So in marketing, a lot of small businesses get overwhelmed and want to know where to start. How do I start? Where do I invest? And the biggest thing is understanding what marketing is to begin with. So you don't get caught up in all the tools and all the new updates with social media and websites and billboards. All of those things can be incredibly overwhelming. But I wanted to share with you today that one of the main things that will allow you to sustain and be able to come out of a recession and come out of a global pandemic and even stronger as a business is the relationships that you will establish. So here's what I'll be covering today. What is a real relationship? Your company's DNA is very important when establishing those real relationships. The real relationship process, because a lot of the time when we talk to our clients about establishing relationships, they think we mean going out and networking and meeting people and getting referrals. Actually, it's the real relationship between you and what we used to call customers, and we're now calling them loyal brand champions. I'll give you some examples on how the best brands do it and then ways to maintain those relationships. Next. So what is a real relationship? Simple as it states, it's a relationship that is real. You have to establish this with your core base of customers so that they can become loyal brand champions later down the road. You show them that you care. Real relationships is not just, again, going out networking and having those transactional relationships with prospects and customers, but it's really understanding who they are and how you can keep them returning. It's learning about one another and maintaining it. So we like to say it's a marriage more instead of a one-night stand. Real relationships are not built on trying to sell. And I'll talk a little bit later about marketing versus selling. Next slide, please. So before you can jump into talking about a real relationship and how you're going to establish it, how am I going to speak to this prospective customer who in turn will become a loyal brand champion? Before anybody can support, recommend, or defend your product or service, they have to know who you are. One of the first things that we like to ask prospective customers when they come into Some New Marketing is, who do you feel like your customer is? Who do you feel like your target audience is? And I know all of us like to think that we've given that some thought and some energy and some time, but 99% of the time we have people say, well, everyone's my customer. Obviously, I want to make money. I want to sell my product or service, but really that is not true. You have to understand what separates you from your competitors and why are you a good fit over someone that's doing the same thing as you. Finding your niche. And Guy Kawasaki, if you're not familiar, is one of the godfathers of advertising, branding, and marketing. And I hope this video plays, if you guys could click on his name right there, just talking about finding your niche. And I know a lot of us like to think when we start out in business that that's something that we thought of. But we run into small businesses all the time. And if it's not able to play on the screen, I will definitely put it in the chat box as a link. But basically, he talks about how you can get far and to the right as a product or service. So I'll use burger joints as an example, fast food. There's Burger King, there's McDonald's, there's Wendy's. None of them are really concerned, oh, there we go, about whether or not, oh, go ahead.
This is all the marketing you ever need to know. It's also probably all the R&D and product design you ever need to know. I think that this chart can explain basically all of marketing and product design. On the vertical axis is the ability to produce a unique product or service. On the horizontal axis is the value of that service or product to the customer. As you might suspect, this is going to be a 2x2. And as you might suspect, you're going to want to be high and to the right. But let's go through the other corners first. The first corner is where you provide something of great value to the customer, but there are 10 other competitors doing it. At that point, you have to compete on price because it is not a unique product or service. It's an ugly place to be. Another corner is where you provide something and only you provide it, but nobody wants it. That's where you're stupid. In lower and to the left is the absolute worst corner. That's where you provide something that nobody cares about, and there are 10 ways to get it, and that's over here. That means you're a .com company. The prototypical example of a .com company was the ability to buy dog food online. That's why there's a dog food picture. You know, at the height of the .com phenomenon, you could buy a case of dog food online for 10% than what you would pay for by driving to a brick and mortar store, a Pet Mart or a Petco, right? You could save 10%. However, dog food is so heavy that you would pay $10 in shipping, which would be more than compensate for the 10% discount. So in effect, the dog food was of no value to the customer buying it online. However, there were 6 ways you could do it. There was pets.com, mypets.com, epets.com, ipets.com, lastminutepets.com, discountpets.com. There's 16 ways to buy dog food for more than you would pay in a store. That explains the .com phenomenon. So the holy grail of positioning in product design and marketing is to figure out how the hell you get into that corner where you are the single white tulip in a field of crappy other tulips. How do you do that? What is so unique about your product or service? It can be features, it can be price, it can be geographic location, it can be service levels. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, how is it unique? And by the way, that unique element better be valuable to the customer. An example of a company that I think is very high and to the right is Fandango. So Fandango allows you to buy a movie ticket before you go to the movie. So you really know you have a ticket, and you can just zip through the line because they scan your printed out ticket, right? That's great value to the customer. And you can only buy it through Fandango. That company is high and to the right. So the basic proposition here is for you to be high and to the right. You can think of it as being like our president, high and to the right. Okay?
So obviously the video is from some time ago. He's mentioning Fandango, but they had a very unique DNA, as he stated, in that they were giving themselves an edge up on their competitors and not just trying to compete on price. So I revisit that often, even though It's an older video. It's never, the information is never going to be dated itself. Next slide. So for yourself as a small business or as an aspiring entrepreneur, think about what makes you who you are. What are you good at and how can that work into your DNA? We like to stress using the terminology, your company's DNA, because just like people, your company should, everyone can have a different DNA. No one has the same one. Next, please. So I think right before that, I was going to give you these examples. Some good examples that I think of who are high and to the right are stores like Walmart and Target being able to exist at the same time. Do they have similar products and services? Yes, but separate from one another, they have a specific DNA. Walmart is all about pricing, pricing, pricing. We're going to slash those prices, have low pricing, but they're not really focused on the experience. Target is, we want you to come in here and enjoy your experience while you're shopping. Maybe we want to present a higher quality, we're presenting to a higher quality of customer. No shade to anybody that shops at Walmart, I shop at both. But they have very different, they attract a very different customer from one another. Another example, Popeye's brand promise to their loyal brand champions is much different from Chick-fil-A. They both sell chicken, they both have excellent food. And the difference of someone driving to a Chick-fil-A versus a Popeye's is because Popeye's is promising a different quality or a different proposition to their customers. They're promising you that Southern Louisiana style home cooked chicken. That's their brand promise, right? Whereas Chick-fil-A, you're going to get a grand experience. If the Chick-fil-A line is wrapped around the building, you still get in that line. Why? Because you know that they're going to be efficient and your experience will be great. Next slide, please. So for small businesses, like I said in the beginning, when they come to us and they ask that question of what do I need to do? How do I need to invest into my marketing? What's my first step? Like I said, establishing your internal brand and your DNA is the very first step. Just like Guy Kawasaki stated, just like on that previous slide where I said, think about it. That is a process that begins before you even open the doors to your business. And a lot of us as small business owners, I know when we're first starting out, we don't feel like that's something that we can necessarily invest time and resources into, but we must. Marketing is the process. So understanding, if you don't remember anything else today, marketing is the process. Marketing is not the tools and the distribution channels like social media. It's not billboards. It's not advertising. It's not public relations. It is the process. So when you're establishing these relationships, understand who you need to establish them with. Resources. That's your banks. That's other small businesses that you can work with to help push your product and service. Influencers. Those are your organizations like WRMSDC, your chambers of commerce. Those are influencers of our small businesses because they're here to help us grow. Prospects is where you start. So you start with the prospect and you need to understand how to speak to them to get them in the door to become a customer. And then from customer to loyal brand champion is where you want to get to. Customers, like I said earlier, will be one-time transactional, maybe here and there, but loyal brand champions will not only purchase your brand, they will recommend your brand and they will defend it. The way that I defend certain products over others, you would think that I have part ownership or stock in them. That is what a loyal brand champion will do for your small business. Next, please. So marketing versus sales, and you can click right through these because like I said, this is something that we get asked immediately when we get small businesses in the door. Like, what is the difference? I hired a sales team. I put money into this other company that said they were going to increase my sales. Understanding that marketing is first trying to get the company to make what the consumer wants. So like I said, before you even open the doors, you need to be thinking about what type of product or service am I making and do people want that? Just like Guy Kawasaki said. In sales, they're trying to get consumers to want what the company makes. So those people in the mall in the middle with the kiosk and you're trying to, cover your eyes and walk past them really fast. They don't really care if you want what they want or if you want what they're selling or not, but they're going to try and sell it to you. That's what we call a narrow concept, whereas marketing is a wide concept. and you guys can screenshot this because I don't want to bog you down. I know I don't have a ton of time, but one thing that I do want to point out here, or two things, is again, like I said, marketing begins before the production process begins, and then sales is after. Again, in sales, they have inventory galore and they just want to get it out. They just want to get it out. They don't care. In marketing, we create a pull, and selling, it's more of a push. So another thing to highlight is marketing continues after the product is sold. And that speaks to maintaining those relationships. And then in sales, after they sell it to you, they don't care. Focused on short-term versus long-term. So think about this, take a screenshot, a snapshot of the screen, because small businesses, you'll start to be able to think to yourself like, oh, am I selling or am I marketing? Next question, or next slide, sorry. So real relationships to loyal brand champions. What are loyal brand champions? I know I keep saying it. The reason why we moved on from using terms like customers is because, again, customers can be transactional. It doesn't really help you with your cash flow. Real relationships will lead to establishing loyal brand champions. And there it is again, where I said loyal brand champions will support, defend, and recommend. It's like you have your own unofficial organic team out there pulling people into your brand and into your business. Loyal brand champions are the best marketing resource because they are promoting and referring your product and service all on their own, and they're going to return as well. They're loyal to your brand. Small businesses can have this in the same way that large corporations and businesses do. Next. So another thing for you to think about as a small business, what is a company that you're a loyal brand champion of and why? Once you start to get your wheels turning on that, you will be able to repeat or replicate some of their practices for your own business. And on the next slide, there's some examples of who has loyal brand champions and why. So these two will probably forever be competing. I know the battle between Android and Apple is a never-ending game. If you've ever been in a conversation with people or even witnessed, people will fight over that rivalry forever. Same with Coke and Pepsi. Since the beginning for both of them, they've been trying to message and market to their loyal brand champions in a different way, and at times would try to match up to the other person and kind of shoot themselves in the foot. So staying loyal to your base, because your loyal brand champions, listen, my Apple charger goes out, I feel like every 5 minutes, but I'm a loyal brand champion to where I will never switch over to Android. They got me locked in. One of the ways that both of the, or all four of these companies do that is inviting us in. Like I was saying earlier, it's kind of a pull concept and inviting us in. With Apple, they will tease something way early on to where you're sitting here defending its features and all the new updates, and you haven't even tested the product. So that's been the genius of their marketing strategy. Next slide. So again, you don't want customers. The biggest mistake made in marketing is assuming that everyone can essentially be your customer. That is a false prospect. Your goal is to create a lifetime relationship. Another example of lifetime relationships for me that I love is Disney. Our grandparents, parents, ourselves, and then now my children, all of us have been a part of the Disney evolution. And Walt Disney hasn't been around for, a couple of decades now. So Disney has the lifetime relationship with their loyal brand champions. I see other companies like Amazon and such going in that direction as well. Shondell is the marketing mentor inside the Some New Solutions Zone, the marketing membership platform that I talked about earlier. Next slide. Okay, so what does the perfect customer look like to you? This is another one that you want to take a snapshot of, because these are things that you need to think about. Do you understand the psychographics of your loyal brand champion or your potential loyal brand champions? What do they need to believe in order to support, defend, and recommend your product or service? What makes them ecstatic about it? And what makes them loyal? Jot these questions down for yourselves as a small business and start to break that down, and then there you have your target audience. That's how you should be messaging. You're not trying to do a catch-all, casting a wide net to everyone, because everyone is not your customer. Next slide. So some simple ways. One of the things that we get when people come in the door to Some New Marketing and they say, well, I can't really afford everything that you're talking about. I don't know where to start. I don't know how I'm supposed to establish these relationships, let alone maintain them. Everything that's listed here is kind of the most cost efficient, but also very effective ways that you can maintain those relationships. Holiday cards, you don't always have to be selling. That is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, especially small businesses. You don't always have to be selling when you're trying to talk to your prospects or when you're talking to your customers. Sending them simple holiday cards, emails, text messages, direct mailers, phone calls, social media, and so much more. I know that the distribution channels and all of the things that are available to you to be able to market your company can be overwhelming. But think about some of these simple ways where a good example would be like your bookkeeper. They will send you a holiday card and a birthday card. Well, if you have a good one, mine does. Send you a holiday card and a birthday card. And you're like, oh, okay, they kind of care about me. So then so Christmas time, they send you a holiday card or a mailer or something like that, Christmas time. And then guess what rolls around the next season? Tax season. So you're not even really hitting the internet searching for new accountants or new bookkeepers. You're like, I already know this is my friend. This is somebody that I work, closely with over the years, and they maintain the relationship with me. Simple. So one of the things I want to leave you with, if you don't remember anything that I just said, marketing is a beast. I know branding, establishing a brand identity is a lot for small businesses. It's a lot for everyone. So even the top dogs, the best brands in the world, don't think that it's easy for them because they have more resources. It is very complex, and it's something that you have to give your attention to regularly because the world of marketing changes. But the number one question we get from clients is, what's the difference between marketing, promotions, and branding? And honestly, simply put, I will say this: the word marketing is often misused, as I've stated several times throughout this presentation, because it's based on a person's personal experience and exposure to it. So what I mean by that is we'll have people come in the door and say, well, I spent money on marketing. I hired this social media firm. I bought these billboards and it doesn't work. And then they will tell their friends and tell those people and tell other people. And that is the message that's being spread across the small business community. And we're missing out on huge opportunities, and we're missing out on sustainability because we're going off of one person's personal experience and exposure to it. Marketing is the process, again, by which consumers purchase your product or service. Promotions is publicizing that product or service to a consumer to create a transaction or purchase. So you cannot skip ahead to promotions before you even lay that marketing foundation or your marketing strategy. And then branding is creating a real relationship between the consumer and a product or service. It's emotionally based, and it extends beyond that one-time transaction. Brands equal purchase, recommend, and defend, AKA loyal brand champions. Next slide. And that's it. Again, my name is Tiara Flynn. I am the owner of Some New Marketing. We've been doing this for small businesses and entrepreneurs for the last 15 years. And then I created the online marketing membership platform called the Some New Solution Zone, where in there you get, you learn about the 12 steps of marketing. That is something that Shondell created in 2006. And then also he will be your personal marketing mentor, because small businesses don't need coaching. They don't need consultation when it comes to the marketing space. You need mentorship. You need to understand how to establish that brand identity for yourself and how you can message and market to your customers and in turn, turn them into loyal brand champions.
Tiara, absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you, Marvin. Does anyone have any questions, or do I check the chat for that?
So if you have a question, please feel free to put it in the chat. We can take a few. But Tiara, I want to start off with just asking you one simple question. And that is, what would you what has been the impetus for your success in this field with many companies, many marketing companies that exist? So what's been the impetus for your success?
Oh, that's a great question. So in the beginning, like I said, my dad started the company in 2006. He came from a larger marketing firm in Las Vegas, and they were focused on, like I was saying, those tangible items, right? Like bring somebody in the door. Do you want a website? Do you want brochures? Do you want billboards? And that was the start of their process. What he was noticing was small businesses, when they came in, they're like, I'm a little overwhelmed. I can't deal with this. So I would say that how we've been successful is, one, specifically focusing on small business owners as our target audience, because a lot of people don't want to do that. They feel like they can't afford it or understand what they're offering. But by us focusing on the process and the intangibles of marketing versus getting people, just getting them in and out the door with products, I would say that's a huge part of why we've been able to be successful over the last 15 years, for sure.
Okay, and I'm checking the chat. I don't see any questions because I know you were just extremely thorough, and this information really has my mind blown, especially when you talk about creating essentially brand ambassadors. But the way that you summed it up, you did it in such a way that I've never heard before. And so we definitely appreciate that. And yes, so Tiara's contact information is actually on the slide, and that's in front of you. And we'll be sure to make sure that if she permits, we'll share this presentation with you as well.
Okay. Yeah,
I have one more question, Marvin, for you.
Sure.
Tiara, the question is, what is the best way to identify your brand's niche in order to reach your customers?
So that's a good question. First, you want to start with what product or service do you think that you are offering? From there, you want to say, what is the need within the community or, within the world for this product or service? And then your next question is why. So laying down, putting down that foundation early on will save you a lot of time and money in the future. That's the best way for you to identify and reach your customers. Another thing that small business owners don't realize, or I guess business owners in general, is that there are a lot of free market study information out there. Organizations such as yourselves, SBDC, SBA, they're constantly putting out a lot of information and content. And I know initially it feels overwhelming, but let's just use a restaurant owner, for example. Restaurant owners, if you do a simple market study and a traffic study for the area in which you want to open up your store, that could save you a great deal of time and money in the long run, versus you're learning these things as you kind of go along.
Awesome. Does your organization provide tailored presentations to nonprofits?
We do. We work with nonprofits a lot, more so in the grassroots outreach space. So we do provide that as a service as well. But yes, for sure.
Okay. One more. What are the best ways to identify?
Let me see if I can read it. You kind of went out. Where is it?
What are the best ways to identify customers' pain points?
So the best way to identify that is customer surveys. They're still very, very, very effective. Letting them being open enough to let them provide you that feedback. As a new small business, I know that can be very scary. But we had a client, a dental office, and he was kind of stuck, and he kept telling us, like, I'm doing okay, but I'm not growing, and everything else that he had was right. We had him do an internal SWOT analysis, which is a part of the marketing, your annual process when it comes to reevaluating your marketing and what you should be investing your dollars into, right? He was paying for radio, TV, and things like that. But when we did the internal SWOT analysis, what he identified in the end of it was that his process leading up to everything was great. The experience, they loved the dentist. When they got to checkout, he had a few snags. And allowing those customers to give him that feedback, one, they felt like that they were being heard and respected and appreciated. And also he was able to make those changes to turn his business around. So customer surveys and evaluations, opening yourselves up to that with your current customer base is a smart thing. And if you're thinking about doing it before you open the doors, even better, right? So you can see, is this a product or service that people want?
Awesome, awesome. Got to get this question in from Ed Cleaver with Ball Corporation. Do you participate in your local Minority Supplier Development Council? If so, how has this organization helped you in your business?
Absolutely. We're very active over the years. As I stated in the beginning, we were awarded just in 2020 the All Money is Green Award, which basically meant that we spent over 70, I think, percent it was of our revenue back into MBE. So partnering with them and collaborating, or just buying their products or services. We also participate in many of the events with the WRMSDC. That's how I'm able to just roll it off. In the beginning, I was like, it's just so much, but I'm able now to roll it right off the tongue because we participate presentations, workshops, roundtables, connectors events. I would say it's helped our organization, mostly exposure. The more that we participated, the more that we were able to use our, using our awards that we won through the organization and telling people, how proud we were as members. I would say that's mostly what we're able to do.
Awesome. And one last quick question. What was it like to be on a national platform talking to Vice President Kamala Harris?
Oh, it was awesome. I worked with that organization that put that event on, the Small Business for America's Future, at the height of the pandemic. They were excellent. You guys were there, so I'm sure you've been to other events of theirs where they were just really, to me, diligent and effective in getting information to us as small business owners when it came to relief funding and things like that. So when they asked me, they didn't necessarily say who would be there. But I knew, since they couldn't tell me, I'm like, oh, this is big. So hopefully, I got my eyelashes on straight. I was really nervous. I'm glad that I was able to get my question off. And hopefully they're going to continue working for us small businesses, because as I've been telling, even when I was on the call you guys heard with the vice president, and as I've told many of those people when we're doing those types of events, small business owners are resilient, if nothing else. So I'm glad in a way that we were able to expose those shortcomings on how the government is supporting small businesses. And even though it took a global pandemic to do so, I'm glad that they have their radar on us finally.
Well, we appreciate you being at the table. And Tiara, on behalf of the Mountain Plains Minority Supplier Development Council, we want to sincerely thank you for participating this morning. The information you have shared is really priceless. We could not have paid you enough for this information.
No, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. If you couldn't tell already, I'm really passionate about small businesses. I think that we have just major opportunities to expand and to grow our businesses and brand the same way that the top dogs do. So I really love small businesses and what they bring to the community and to the country.
Well, we felt your passion and commitment when we saw you in that previous workshop or previous session. So that's why we invited you, and you have truly delivered. So again, we thank you so much. And
thank
we
you
hope
guys
that
so much.
Yes. And so with that said, we have our first prize poll coming up. All prize winners will be announced at the end of our program, and you must be present to win. So on your screen right now, you can see a poll. And so the person with the most correct answers is going to be eligible for our first set of prizes. So we're going to give you a moment just to answer these questions. So while you're doing that.
And all of the questions came from the presentation you just watched. So we're trying to see who was paying attention.
I love that. That's awesome.
So that's the teacher in Brittany and the teacher in me that you're seeing, where we test you on the information.